Mako, The Jaws of Death, is not your average shark movie. And that's because in this story, the sharks are not the villains. It's the humans instead. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. And on this episode, I'm going to be talking about yet another movie from the William Grefe collection. This time, it's Mako, The Jaws of Death. Released in 1976, this is yet another movie that tried to capitalize off the success of Jaws, which came out the year before. And during this time, there were a lot of movies that were ripping off Jaws because it was such a huge hit, and it seems like they all had their own rip-off version of the Jaws theme song. The movie starts off with some fishermen on a boat, and it looks like they've caught a big one. So big that this guy can't even handle the rod. But here comes Sonny, and he's going to cut the line and save this shark. Now, who is Sonny, you might ask? And why is he seemingly swimming around randomly in the open ocean? Well, that's because Sonny is like Batman for sharks. I would say he's like Aquaman, but he really doesn't give a shit about other fish or sea life, just sharks. So he just kind of swims around patrolling the waters looking for people who hurt sharks. Anyways, he climbs onto the boat and does what all superheroes do. He murders people. Okay, technically he doesn't murder them. He gets the sharks to murder them because he has this telepathic connection with sharks. Yeah, see, this is starting to get interesting, isn't it? So he uses his shark mind powers to signal the sharks like, wah, 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 wah. Okay, actually, he doesn't really do that. I'm sorry. I wish he did, because the method that he uses just isn't as interesting. It lacks some pizzazz. All he does is he just kind of knocks on the side of the boat, and the sharks come and eat the people. So now he's back in town, and just look at him, strutting around, looking very proud of all the death he just caused. And he goes to this bar, where the bartender gives him a beer. And I have to say, I'm a little disappointed, only because if I was a writer, I'm making this character pretty messed up. Like, he's happy and nice sometimes, but there's a second side to him that he randomly snaps into, where he's, like, psychologically starting to believe that he's half shark. Like, he's turning into a shark person, you know? He sits down at the bar and he's just like, no, not beer. I need salt water. Salt water? Man, I can't get you salt water. That's like, we don't even have salt water here. And even if we did, I wouldn't serve it to you. You're not supposed to drink salt water. It's really bad for you. I once had a cousin who almost died drinking salt water. I'll tell you what I can do, though. I can get you a glass of tap. I'll get you all the tap water in the world because, I mean, quite honestly, you look really dehydrated. Are you okay there, man? I said salt water. Just say when. But instead, they have a friendly exchange, and he eats a burger, which honestly looks really good. Then he goes home where he's approached by this animal researcher who wants to see a shark give birth under laboratory conditions. And Sonny doesn't trust the guy, and I don't blame him. He's super creepy about it and tells Sonny that if he won't help him, the government might put a bounty on sharks.
Then don't complain when federal legislation is passed naming shark a bounty fish.
So Sonny agrees to give him a bunch of sharks as long as he gets them back in a week. These are, I guess, the researchers' assistants, Charlie and Pete. By the way, if he looks familiar, the man playing Pete is Harold Sakata, who played Oddjob in Goldfinger. The movie makes sure that this is well known. They even put it in the credits. Like, hey, check it out, we got Oddjob. You know, that was a good movie. Cool character. And yeah, this came out in what? 76. So yeah, in about 20 years, your kids are probably going to fight with each other over GoldenEye multiplayer, over who gets to choose his character, because it's kind of cheap. Then Sonny takes off in a van that looks more like something a serial killer would drive than anything I've ever seen in my life. And he goes to the Rustic Inn, where I guess you can drink and watch people swim. And apparently, I think this is really turning Sonny on. He's just sitting there like, oh yeah, she is so shark-like. So this goes on for a really long time, and she hasn't come up for air at all, which makes me wonder if she's putting on a show or if this is actually her way of asking for help. The owner of the bar, Barney, comes in, and you know someone is a drinker when they have a drinking glass as a necklace. I mean, if you're drinking so much that you're starting to look for ways to have a glass attached to you at all times, I don't know, you might have a problem. So finally she finishes and everybody claps. I'm really not sure what's going on with Sonny here. It's like he's in some sort of trance or just doesn't feel like being in character at this particular moment. Then a cop comes in and starts talking to the bartender about a boat where the crew members just disappeared without a trace. And Sonny is like, holy crap, those are totally the people I murdered. I really hope they don't dust the water for prints. So then he sees Karen, the lady who was swimming earlier, and he's like, man, would I ever like to take her out on a date? Nothing too fancy, you know, bucket of chum in a movie. But then he sees Charlie and Pete come outside and start harassing her. And then when she gets in her car and leaves, they get in their car and follow her. So Sonny is like, not on my watch. This looks like a job for Sharkman. So he gets into his murder-mobile and takes off after them. Eventually he finds them, and I guess they managed to pull her over and are now assaulting her on the side of the road. So Sonny gets into this sweet fighting stance, and this fight is actually kind of awkward, so of course I'm a big fan of it.
Son of
Then Charlie smashes a bottle over his arm and he's like, my shirt! You son of a bitch, H&M only had one of these.
Come on.
Where are we going?
I'm late. Let's go.
Will you take me home?
Get in.
Honestly, in this situation, I think you really have to answer her. Considering everything she's just been through, you can't tell her to just get in the van and then not answer her as to whether or not you're going to take her home. I mean, if you wanted to be a real gentleman, you'd not only take her home, you'd make a stop at the McDonald's drive-thru on the way. See, now that is a power move. I mean, who wouldn't be impressed by that? First, you stop these creeps, and then you follow it up with some nuggies and some fries, maybe a couple of junior chickens. I don't know, whatever she's into. Except probably not the fillet of fish. He might kick you out of the car if you order that. And this is just hilarious. He parks beside the water and tells her that he's got to feed his friends and that he'll be back in 30 to 45 minutes. It's also amazing how sunny it is for being the middle of the night. Anyway, she comes with him to his island, where she asks about his necklace, and he starts going on about how he was in the Philippines being chased by some bandits, and that's when he discovered that he had a special connection with sharks when they didn't attack him and killed the bandits instead. Then when he got out of the water, there was the shaman just sitting there with this sweet shark statue. And he's like, well, you made it through the water without getting eaten, so that makes you the shark man now. Here, take this. And as long as you wear it, no matter where you are, the sharks will be your friend. See, now that's the type of anecdote I would love to have at a party. People would be hanging on every word, and everyone would believe you too, because a story that crazy has got to be true. Also, after you're done telling a story like that, make sure to act really unpredictable, like this.
You live around here, and you feed your friends. Now, you're not trying to tell me...
Come on, I'll show you.
Okay.
But I can't blame him for being this excited. People get like this when they want to show off their collections. It doesn't matter what it is. You know, coins, stamps, chewed gum found at the bottom of restaurant tables of various colors and flavors, Pokemon cards. So he opens a hatch and sends out the shark signal, which again is basically just banging on something.
You don't have to be afraid of any shark when you're with me.
Well, that's just gonna seal the deal right there. I mean, ladies, how could you possibly resist that? So then he's like, look, I'm not crazy. Here, I'll prove it. And he instantly starts taking off his pants. Then he gets in and starts dancing the dance of the sharks, spinning and twirling with them.
Now, am I crazy?
Well, honestly, Sonny, at first I thought maybe, but now that I think about it and put together everything I've learned about you in the past 10 minutes, I think you might be the most sane person I've ever met. So it turns out Karen is married to Barney and she hates him. Barney wants to spice up her swim routine, so he comes up with the idea of putting one of Sunny's sharks behind a plastic divider in the water so that it will appear as if she's swimming with it. Anyways, Karen kisses Sunny because she's obviously into him. I mean, why wouldn't she be? He's got everything going for him. Flashy car, flashy jewelry, flashy fish powers. So then Sunny sees this guy showing off his shark to everybody, and he's like, where the hell did you get this shark? You definitely didn't catch it yourself. I can tell just by looking into your eyes. You've never seen a live shark in your life. Okay, that's not actually the dialogue, but whatever. The guy's like, okay, I bought it for $20 from these guys who go out and hunt them for fun. I do just want to point out that $20 for a shark is a massive bargain. So call in right now, folks. These sharks are not going to last at this price. This is our daily deal drop, and guess what else is dropping into studio with me right now? That's right, it's one of these gorgeous sharks that you can own for yourself. $20 or just 4 payments of $5, or you can even opt in for our super payment plan, which is 20 payments of just $1 at 5,000% daily interest. Now, some of you might be a little hesitant about this, because sharks are on the endangered species list. Well, let me give you my personal guarantee right here, right now. If you pick up the phone and you call in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to throw in this rubber shark mask. Look at how beautiful that is. That could be your face inside of that mask. And all you got to do is pick up the phone, call in right now. It's yours 100% free. Just pay shipping and handling. So don't delay. Don't even think about how you're probably going to hell for this, because I know I am. Sunny decides to swim out there and finds that Charlie and Pete are the guys killing all the sharks. So he climbs onto the boat, and Charlie is just like, what the hell? And throws his beer can at him. And then he just stands there as Sunny bashes him in the head. Then Sunny sends the boat crashing into the dock with them hung up like sharks on the back of it. Then he goes back to the bar and finds Barney is using high-frequency sounds to mess with the shark in the tank. So there's a fight, and Karen is like, what the hell is wrong with you? And Sunny is like, hey, I really like you. I mean, we both have a lot in common. We're both very interested in being submerged in water, so that's a start.
Are you sick? You are a sickie. Think I have stooped so low that a garbage picker thinks.
Okay, now just hang on a sec, all right? I don't like the word sickie just being thrown around like that. What exactly makes Sunny a sickie? The fact that he lives by himself on an island? No. The fact that he talks to sharks? I don't think so. The garbage picker thing? If he does in fact pick through garbage, that's kind of gross, but that doesn't make him a sickie. So what is it? The fact that he brutally murdered multiple people over his love for sharks? Okay, that might be a problem. Then he walks into the research lab and finds the sharks he gave to the researcher are all dead. So now Sunny is on a rampage, and there's a hurricane that's about to hit town. He finds the researcher, and Sunny lifts him up and throws him into the shark tank. I don't know how he managed to do this, seeing as to how high the tank is and that he knocked over the ladder. Then he cuts the plastic barrier in the tank at the bar so that when Karen does her swim routine, the shark will be able to attack her. And I have to say, guys, this is not how you handle rejection. Like, look, I know it sucks getting shot down, but you can't sabotage with the intent of ending someone's life. It's just not a good look. Plus, if you get charged with murder, that will make it significantly harder to meet someone else and move on. Not impossible, but harder. So now the cops are after him, and the hurricane is in full swing. Then after fighting with the cops for a while, he's so tired that he falls into the water, and the sharks eat him.
What the hell was wrong with him? I don't know, Dan. I guess he just cared too much.
Well, there you go. A valuable lesson for all of you. Never care too much. Seriously though, he died because he wasn't wearing the amulet. It looks like it fell off during his fight with the cops. So once again, it looks like we have another tragic tale. All Sonny wanted was to take care of the sharks, and in the end, the sharks really didn't give a shit and they ate him anyways. So, and just like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the thing I found most interesting about this movie is that the sharks aren't the villains in the story, it's the humans. Now, I do think they got some pretty nice looking footage in this movie. I should mention that there is one shot where it looks like a shark was killed on film. I never like seeing that stuff, and I see more animal cruelty in the older films that I watch for this show, but it does still happen on film productions today, unfortunately. Beside that, though, I have to say that some of the shots in this movie actually impressed me, especially for it being so low budget. Working with animals on set is challenging on its own, and shooting a movie underwater has its own set of challenges. And with this movie, they did both, because they didn't have the budget to build a fake shark, so they had to get actual footage underwater of real sharks. Now, I mentioned earlier, there were a bunch of movies that tried to ride off the coattails of Jaws during this time, and the funny thing is, one of those movies is a movie I covered a few months ago, Grizzly, and that starred Richard Jekyll, who was also the lead in this movie. But that's pretty much it for this one. As usual, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all next time. So it looks like we still have a few sharks left. Folks, I can't stress this enough. This is our daily deal drop, which means tomorrow it could be completely gone. Who knows? You know, that's just how life is. One day everything's good, the next day it's gone. You know, last week I got served divorce papers. Now I don't have a place to live. You know, so who needs a home? I need a home. And you know who else needs a home? These sharks. So please, take one of these sharks home. And also, if you know anybody who's maybe renting out a basement apartment, please call in with that information too. Yeah, that doesn't even make any sense. Why would you buy so many? We don't even have that many sharks. Okay, you know what? Fine, let's just roll with it. Let's just see what happens. Yeah, nice, Tim. So folks, we have a new item up. This just dropped right now. We have a 10-pack of shark masks. We bought these in bulk and we are passing on the savings to you. So don't pass this up. We have 50 10-packs because Tim is an idiot. It was just the perfect game. Like, it was so good. And the multiplayer maps were plentiful. That easily was my 1997-1998. Every birthday party, sleepover, whatever, the house was filled with the sound of gunfire and people dying in GoldenEye. Just da-na, and someone being like, ah! If you picked slappers only, you know, I don't know, that just never seemed to be fun to me. And you got kind of tired of the sound effects of the slapping, like you would just be like this, and you just hear like,